So first off, a little bit of historical context of EWB's work in the engineering domain. So when EWB was founded back in the year 2000, one of the founding beliefs was that engineers had more to offer the world of international development than was being asked of them or expected of them, or even that we were expected of ourselves. And so one of the founding beliefs was that there was this higher potential, and the organization set out to unlock that higher potential and basically followed the thread of that belief. And it led the organization, following that thread, led to all sorts of interesting and unexpected places. It led to realizations around new skills, competencies, and perspectives that were required of engineers in order to live up to this higher potential. And very early on in the organization, even within the first few years, it also led to the realization that it's not just international development where engineers aren't living up to our full potential. There's actually much more the engineering profession could provide on a broader scale, basically across the whole profession. In general, that recognition was around this idea that a lot of engineering today is focused on technological, is deep in the technological weeds and very much on technological expertise, and that in general there was a broader role for the engineering profession to play in terms of socio-technological leadership. So very much like we were just talking about in the vision presentation, although at the time we weren't using this exact language. And we recognize that actually in order to bring about these shifts to realize the higher potential of the profession, that it would require a mixture of both cultural and structural changes to the profession. And to all of this, EWB brought its lenses, its natural lenses of social justice and sustainability, which was flavoring all of our action. And over the years, over the last 16 years since the launch of the organization, we started out with curriculum changes and doing some outreach. That evolved into actually conceptualizing something called global engineering and the rise of the global engineering program, which ran for many years. We started doing convening events around the global engineering program. And then around the year 2010, when the organization shifted from a programmatic model to a venture model, we broke up, and that was the roots of the Global Engineering Initiative, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, and also the Engineers of Tomorrow Initiative. And so since that time, we've kind of expanded from global engineering into the work of the Engineering Change Lab, but our ongoing efforts around global engineering through the GEI initiative and Engineers of Tomorrow have persisted. So you can actually look at a lot of what our historical work has been as building, kind of helping us build this momentum across the country. And there really is a big sense now, 16 years in, that momentum is building. And it's building because of the EWB's 3 Rs, which are our record of driving change in the system, the relationships we've built, and the reputation. So there's a lot of the momentum is as a result of all of that great work that we're building on from 16 years of EWBers driving great change in the system. But even beyond EWB, there's the sense that there's a critical mass of other organizations, initiatives, and leaders who are basically sharing our overall vision in kind of crude terms and are wanting to make moves in the same direction. So it feels like a really special time where there's a big opportunity in the entire system to kind of corral all of these efforts and do something much bigger. So one way of visualizing this is if you think about all these individual organizations or initiatives, or you could even conceptualize this as individual leaders that are kind of out there in the space doing work, we see a big function EWB can play is providing coherence and convergence to help move all of these efforts in a really exciting and positive way. So you can think of like the Global Engineering Initiative and the Engineers of Tomorrow Initiative of EWB as almost exemplars of efforts within the system that are already kind of leading the way in a really strong way towards an exciting vision of the profession. But more broadly, both through the efforts of GEI and EOT to link with other players in the system, and now with the lab that's helping to knit together relationships between different organizations and leaders, we're really being able to play this role of lending coherence and convergence within the system. So from a systems change leadership point of view, it's really an opportunity to role model and to bring about a shift of focus from what we are doing in our own initiatives to what our initiatives are doing to the entire system.